Hey everyone, I just wanted to introduce this video real quick. It is a very long, not very well edited video, but this is pretty much start to finish me fitting all the parts together for my Kibler Woodsrunner rifle. Like I said, very long video. I thought about not even publishing this, but I thought someone may get some use out of it. Again, everything I did here was a first timer, just doing the best I can, so take anything you see here with a grain of salt and definitely do your own work and make sure you don't mess up your kit. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the video. Definitely get some popcorn and a Coke and maybe watch this over the course of a couple days. But wanted to put it out there so you can see how easily these kits go together by a complete novice, and maybe you can take some stuff from it. But with that, we'll go ahead and get started with this kit. Okay, sorry if you can hear some background noise there. I've got my heater running. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a stiff bristle brush and wipe off some of the sawdust. I don't know if you can see that. There's some stuff there, and even in some of the carving. I think it's going to be really pretty stock. I don't know if you can see it right there. See if I can focus. Oh, losing you. Alright, let's see if I can get this on to focus. Now, that's all my lens got, but you can kind of see there's some little really fine pieces in some of this carving, and I'm just going to take a brush. I saw Jim doing this, not so much on the carving, but more in here and stuff like that. I'm just lightly going over this and trying to knock some of that out before I do anything. Like I've literally done nothing. And I may have to go in and trim some of that off. Going through there, it seems to be working pretty well. There's a few places that are definitely going to take a little more work. Tell you what, the carving, I mean, I've never actually seen a gun that was carved by hand, but it looks really nice. I mean, it really does, especially for being done by a machine. Sorry for the band-aid on the thumb. I'm sure that shows up good. But I think he's pretty well got this figured out. But I'm going to go through here, brush this out like that, get that piece of styrofoam off there. Okay, I hope you can hear me okay. I've got that heater running. My stock had just a little bit of burrs and stuff right there on the nose cap, and I know in Jim's video he started down there with the lock and the trigger and all that, but before I forgot to do this and got the barrel in there, I wanted to take care of this. I just took and 3D printed a little sanding thing. He had a triangular one. I couldn't find one, so I found this on the Thingiverse website and just printed it up real quick. It seems to be working pretty well. And I'm just kind of touching that up, getting some of them burrs off the bottom. There's a little bit on here I've already done, and not doing much, just kind of cleaning that up and trying to get this, if it can focus, trying to get this chamfer cleaned out right there. Didn't do much at all to this, just more or less cleaned it up just a little bit. and I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to take the nose cap and this is a machined piece, so it fits pretty well. Just kind of work it on there and slides down on there, and it looks like it fits up pretty nice. Get a little tap there. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and put the nose cap screws on. They're pretty small little screws, and I know this looks like a regular screwdriver, but these are gunsmithing ground flatheads, so they fit in there really good. Important to have the right screws, or you'll have to learn the hard way like I did on my Hawkins rifle here, and you can kind of booger those up pretty easy. So make sure you got a good screwdriver. Don't be like me and have to learn the hard way. Yeah, so make sure you got the right one. So another video, watch the guy put this on with the screws going this way. That's not correct. They go from the inside channel out. It's chamfered. I am going to tap this just ever so slightly. It fits up great. Not much to do there. So I'm going to grab the first one, and be nice if my thumb wasn't messed up. Go ahead and get this started. Just try not to cross thread it. Got the nose cap on. Again, take your time. The screws are going to be just slightly proud. Here we'll fix that in a little while. We'll file them down, and then again, be pretty careful with that. So yeah, not much to it. Just take your time and get it right. Pretty easy to do. Alright, so now I guess we could pull these pins and go ahead and put the trigger and stuff in like he did. So I may do that now. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the trigger and get all that ready to go. I have soft jaws on this, but I ordered some leather. It's not here yet, and I'm going to go ahead and just use a thick towel and go in between the jaws of my vise. This is not the vise he recommends for this. This is just a Yoist vise that I restored for Youst. I don't know how to pronounce it, but good vise. But I'm just going to go real careful, not put too much pressure on it, and go from there. So the first thing that he recommends doing is taking this off and putting the trigger on. So I'm going to grab a pair of vice grips right here. I'm going to pull these pins out. So there's a couple pins in here. I'm going to try and pull these pins out. They come out really easily. And it left really easily, so I'll have to go get that here in just a second. Grab the one up here and lay that there. Okay, let me go find that other pin real quick before it runs away forever. Well, that was easy. So, got that pin. So I'm going to set my pins right here. Remind me where they're at. So we've got that. Both of our pins are right there. So now what he says to do is take this and tap this loose. Again, I'm not putting much pressure at all on this. I'm just kind of using it as another set of hands here. Some good stuff out of the way. So he has a mallet. I don't have a wood mallet, so I got one of these rubber ones. So I'm just gonna take this and tap it. It comes right out. And there's your trigger guard. And then they do a good job with the bench here. We'll need the trigger and the bolt to get this thing out. So this has a little, the back of the trigger, I don't know if you can see that or not, has a little tooth in there. And we're going to pop it out. A lot of little bolts here. Be nice if that's something to keep them in. So I'm going to take this bolt and just carefully thread it in. This is the tang bolt. Maybe. Thread bolt. Go the other way here. Screw it in. I'm just going to give this slide that and get that to raise up. Back, let's bolt it up. So we've got that raised up. And I'm going to take the nail that it gives you for that and just pop right out. So yeah, it's retained by a little point on the back of the trigger slot there. I'll take just a second and clean up the burrs in there. I've got a little X-Acto knife, and there's just some focus. There's some burrs in here. I don't think that you can see them. But right in here, I'm just going to take and little pieces of sawdust. Not really burrs, they're just little pieces of sawdust. I'm going to take just a second. Clean those out. I don't forget to do it later. Really not much here. I'm just basically scraping some of them off. Everything on this thing is really well machined. It's kind of amazing that they can do this with wood. I can't imagine how long this would take somebody to do by hand. The reason good guns aren't cheap. not even really using the cutting edge of this as much as I'm just scraping off some of these little pieces of wood fragment here. That's pretty good. Got one little splinter there. One down in there. Alright, that looks great. So, got that in there. We're going to go ahead and, man, this thing balances so good. Set it down here on the edge, and then we'll take our trigger plate, and I'm going to go ahead and run this screw through there. I was having a little bit of a hard time getting it started. So I'm just going to take a second while it's out of the gun. Just work that in there. Probably just a little burr on the threads. Wish I had a tap that was right size. I would just chase the threads. And when you're doing this, just go real nice and easy. Last thing you want to do through the way to get one of these is mess something up because you're going slow, or going fast rather. Yeah, I believe there's a little bit of a burr or something on there, but it's going through. So what I'm doing is I'm just threading this in a little ways and then I'm backing it back out just like I was using a tap. And dropping it, that always helps. Definitely a little bit of a burr there. Starting much easier now. Gotta be boring to watch. I'll speed it up. Again, just working this and that way when it's in the gun, it's going to be a lot less headache. So we've threaded all the way through, and I've just been working this back and forth. Not to mess anything up there. Much better. that's satisfactory. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to ease the trigger into it. And then we're just going to take this. I don't know if you can see anything that I'm doing here. I'm going to take this, just slid the trigger in. Apparently the trigger is too big to go in with this installed. So we're just going to drop that in there. And I think actually I did it backwards. Just wiggle this out. It goes in like that. So I'm going to drop this trigger in. Slide that into the groove. And then I've got a little dowel rod that I made. Just a piece of maple I actually pulled off a tree. Wish I had my leather jaws. Just put a little bit of pressure on that. Last thing I want to do is mess up this stuff. I found a straighter piece. Okay, it's in there. Alright, so now we'll slide this out and we will work on, I need to make a pivoting jaw too. And just set this on top of it. Now we'll work on putting the pin through that hole there. Now in his videos he took a piece of the pin stock and filed it down and made like a guide to go in there. So I'll just do that now. Grab my drill. Hold tight, I gotta go drill. Okay, so I took a second, rearranged the workbench and got something where I wouldn't lose all my parts. So we should be good to go there. So again, we're going to put this pin in. I'm going to make a little guide, like he said to on thing. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball that. It looks like I've got plenty of pin stock here. So I'm just going to take a pair of side cutters. They gave us 4 of these rods, and I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. So I should have plenty. Famous last words. Take a pair of side cutters, cut that off. I'm going to chuck it up in my drill. And I'm just going to take my drill. This is, I know he uses Baco drills. This is a preferred or Pefford. It's a German drill. So just gonna check it a little deeper. little piece of sandpaper to it too. Just smooth it out a bit. Alright, give it a piece of sandpaper here. Work. Get a little bit off of it. So we'll just push that in there. Some of those jaws like he had would be great. Actually, we'll get a little more aggressive file than that. That's a pond cut file. This one should do it a little quicker. Same brand file, but it's a coarser grit sandpaper here. Here's just 220 grit sandpaper. Alright, that'll do the trick. Got a little paraffin wax too. Just coat that thing in a little bit of paraffin wax while it's hot. Oh yeah. So Mr. Kibler said you want to line this up, and then I guess I need to cut a pin that's the right length for that. That's about right there. Somewhere else. Filing it squarish. Put a little chamfer on it. Okay. here's our permanent pin, and this is our alignment pin. So we'll just go through there and hopefully find it. Doesn't seem like it. Be nice if I had a little flashlight to stick underneath there. Usually keep one in my pocket. Oh, come on now. Don't think that's it. Oh, come on. Oh no. I'll take a little more off this. Make it a little easier to deal with. Got it there. Yeah. That's where that it's through the pinhole there. So I'm going to take it, put some side pressure on it, work this pin out, take the one I just made that's got a chamfered in on it, and put a little wax on it. Hopefully that'll help it. Go through there, take my hammer, got the trigger caught, so see, we're almost through. And we're through. Okay, so our trigger's in there. Feels really good. See the pins sticking through here? He said to pull that back through until it's just below the surface. So do that real quick. And then we have that there. So he said take a file and mark it, or a marker or something. So I made up a file like his that's safe file. I can't hold on to anything. I took and ground all the teeth off this side. I'm just gonna go in. Put a slot mark on it. Okay, got that. And now I'm going to pull this back out. Wiggling as I go. Okay. There is a lot of wisdom in having a vise that holds them. I'm scared to put too much pressure on it though and scratch it or mess up the stock. Alright, so I've got my mark. He said cut just below it, so I'm going to cut just below that mark. Extra piece. Now I'm going to take this and dress it up a little bit. May, whenever I get ready to put this back in there, may polish it up real good so that it hinges good on the trigger. Okay, pretty happy with that. Pretty good. Leave that pin right there. I'm going to take our alignment pin. Get the trigger back in there. Set that right there. This is pretty handy. Have a flashlight. Get your stuff started. Okay, it's right there. And I'm going to take my alignment pin. Okay, that's just right. Pull pressure on it. Back that back out. And take my more permanent pin. Good. And then I've got a pin set here. Again, I'm going to hold it just like he said. Hold it. Tip of my finger because I don't want to mess up the stock. I'm actually going to do this on the table. Hold my finger right at the end. Just a little further. Just below the surface on this side, and too short. Pin is too short. Yeah, I don't like that pen. Did I use the wrong one? It's very possible. No, just cut it too short. I can see the pin in there, but it is not what I would like to see here. So I'm going to take my guide pin And I'll just tap it back out until I can get a hold of it with a pair of pliers. Put that in the bin there, and I guess I'm gonna make another one. Okay. One. Alright, there's that. Third time's charm. Second time charm. Okay, that's got the trigger set. Hey, you would never get good at this if you didn't do it more than once. Quite there. Almost there. Alright, that's just proud. So I'll come in here. Come on. Vice grips. Come on. Alright, that is just all the surface in there. So we're going to take our file again. Try not to mess it up this time. I'll tell you, this gun is not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's okay. should be good there. And once again, I like these pliers better. Okay, that come out easier. Okay. Got our spot. Go. Files only cut in one direction. Sometimes I forget that. Alright. Happy with that. Happy with that end of it. This is probably still lined up. It's still lined up. Oh, that ain't out. There we go. Pin. Nope. Got it? Okay. Punch. Can't make it up. No, it's too long. Okay. I'm not going to bore you with this. We'll take this. Mr. Kibler made this look incredibly easy on his video, and I'm sure if you've done it 50 billion times, it probably is pretty easy. Okay. A little bit off of it. Just proud. I literally cut that off. And it's still too long. Cut it in the wrong spot the first time. I got a good mark. 15th time the charm, maybe. Okay, we're gonna line this. It's lined. Hold it down. Take our pin. Scott. Got that. Take a punch. Oh, perfect. All right. That was entirely too difficult. Alright, now the next thing to do is the trigger guard, and we got to cut this pin, yay, down to the right size. So I'm going to just put it front end first. Springs in there, and the alignment pins in there. So let's take some more pin stock. Do it. I'm scared to use it. Where's the cord? This one a bit long. Good. Hindsight, I should not have cut this off. I should have just left it long and marked it and cut it off. Definitely wasted some pin stock there. Okay, that's where we want it. Right about there. Maybe a little further. There. See if I can't do a better job on this one. Got our mark. No, that's too short. I just don't know how much extra pin stock they included. These mark, there's my mark. So I'm just gonna get these flush and transfer that mark from here to this shorter pin. And that way don't waste any. Alright, there's that. Drop her in here. That went straight through. And we'll tap this in. Perfect. Well, got that one wrapped the first time, so that's nice. Alright, we're going to put the pin back in the rear of the stock here. Look at these are the ones they sent. Burrs on them. weird burr on it. Got that in there. So we take our one pin. That should go in there. Pins running around here. Okay. Confident that that's not the right pin that went in there, but that's okay. Okay, we got that all taken care of. Now I think we put the barrel in, maybe? Yeah, we'll see if the barrel will go in. So, take it. And very careful with the stock. Actually, what I want to do, let me make sure there's no wood chips in the stock. Yeah, there's some wood chips. I saw that yesterday, but didn't some wood chips here. Yeah, where they drilled out the whatever that is, they drilled that out. And also I noticed on the barrel, in these pin grooves, there's a couple of them that had some, just a little bit of where they milled them, just a little piece of burr there. I'm just going to go in there. Pretty much just have to poke them out. There's just a little piece of burr on a couple of them. No big deal at all. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. Let me double check and make sure I'm not supposed to put the ramrod tubes in first. I'll be right back. Okay, so got my vise pivoted. I'm gonna put the side plate in, make sure it fits. He said it should fit without much trouble. I believe that's in there. Take this little mallet. Again, I'm just barely tapping this thing. Okay. Looks like the side plate is in. And now let's put the barrel in. So in his video he had the gun locked right about here. Again, I've got soft jaws on and this towel, and I'm putting hardly any pressure on this gun. So we're going to take the barrel. Hopefully this just drops right in. Here's my glove. Looks like it's gonna go right in, just like you said it would. We'll tap. It looks like it needs to go back to me. Man, the stock is very delicate. It's most definitely a snug fit. I'm just making sure that's seated good. Pretty cool gun. So I believe it's seated there pretty good. I'll go ahead and put the put the tang bolt through. See just a little bit of light there. So I'm gonna I'm just tapping on the end of it with this. Just get it good and seated there. I think that's right. Alright, we'll take our tang boat, set this down, get my screwdriver. That's the one. That's about right. Alright. There's the barrel end. I'm going to go through and tap this lock plate. Snug that up just a little bit. And then we've got our bolt, and I think the longer one goes through the top, but let me just double check. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this back in the vise. We're going to go ahead and put the lock in it. So, put that there. Terrified to squeeze this thing too hard. Put this under the barrel. So, got the lock here. So, hopefully this goes in nice and easy. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. The leather jaws and the pivoting jaws, I could see how they would be very much worth it. So I'm just setting this on top of my vise. Again, just tapping this in. It's amazing how tight this fits up. Make sure it's up tight against the barrel. Alright, the long one goes in the back. Shorter one goes in the front. So stick that through there. Threaded right in. Threaded right in. Hopefully these will line up. There it goes. Pretty neat. The fit up on the barrel is focus. I don't know if this is going to focus, but the fit up on the barrel is so tight. Like it's, and I didn't tighten those bolts down super hard. I could probably snug them up. I kind of like the way that they lined up. Probably snug them up just a little bit more. It is super tight up against, I mean, there is like no room between the flash pan and the barrel versus this Hawkins rifle I have. It's not really a Hawkins, it's a Vester Arms. The fit up is much worse. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of play in this one, and it is snug. The fit up on this other one is, or on this Kibler, is just so much nicer. Such a good job. Now that lock really felt like it was maybe a little too big for the joint, but man, I don't know that you can ask for more than that. Now the trigger is supposed to have, okay, it does have a little bit of play. Yeah, there's a little bit of slop in the trigger, which is good. It's supposed to have it, but let's see. Again, never fire this without a flint in it and the frizzen closed. Man, that trigger is not bad. Used to really nice triggers in my ARs and stuff. That trigger is not bad at all. Awesome. Nice. Alright, well, I guess we're going to move on to the ramrod tubes and clean that up. I think I'm going to have to get another card for the camera, but awesome. It's coming right along. Going very fast. Very well made rifle. I'll try to zoom it out, but the balance on it, again, feels really nice. Point's good. Cheek rise is good. pretty excited to shoot this thing. Can't wait to get it going. All right, I will charge up the camera and get ready to put the ramrod tubes, guides, barrels, these things, not that one, but the two that go up here, and then we will I guess get ready to mount the barrel. I'll have to look at the instructions from him. So awesome. Okay, so I've changed up the camera angle a little bit so you can see better. Hopefully it's focusing right here. We're going to put the barrel pipes in. On the video, he sanded these, or filed them a little bit. This is just a deburring tool for Ralph cartridges. So I'm just coming in here and putting a chamfer on the inside of this pipe. Really looks pretty nice. Just do that real quick on both ends. Really, I don't think I want to do much more than that to this one. It looks nice. So, got this slot. It's going to go in there. Let's see if this fits in here well. It's a little bit of a burr right here. I'm just going to. It's coming apart. Scrape that off. So it may be a little bit hard to get off if I don't take it apart when I sand it. Looks good. There. Okay. So we're going to give that a try. So we're going to drop this in here. Fits snug like everything else. It's down there. And I'm going to take my clamp and put a little bit of pressure on it. Good. Everything's gone, and I've been driving all of my pins from the lock plate side to the lock side. So I'm just going to continue with that. Hopefully you can see this. Okay, and I'm going to get a pin. The pin ought to be plenty long. And he said it was really important that you put a good rounded edge on these, because with this wood being so much thinner, I think it is more susceptible to breaking out. Good rounded edge. This edge off. It's not necessary to do both of them right now because we're going to leave them alone, but just in case I did something stupid and put the wrong end in. Gotta be aware of yourself. Okay, so I would just put some paraffin wax on there. Got the ends rounded, so I'm just going to put that in this slot and wiggle it in a little bit. And I'm going to take a hair, just tap it through. Everything seems to be lined up well. And that's through. Doesn't wiggle at all. It's tight. Looks good. Okay. Got one more to do up here. I don't know if you can see that. Right here. Hopefully it'll focus. Again, going to take the tube. This isn't great, man. I don't know if these are cast or machined. I'm just going to put a slight chamfer on these. Maybe that'll help the ramrod go in a little bit better. To that. Second shot there. Right back on here. A little bit of pressure. See if this pin is long enough. Yes. I literally did not. There it is. Going good. Alright. Again, put some wax on it. Just help it slide through there. There it is. Doesn't wiggle, doesn't wiggle. Okay, that looks good. So we got 4 pins for the barrel. Let's see if any of these pins are long enough. And it's just going to be a little bit short. This one will work. Separate. This pin's plenty long. like the barrel's down in there good. So let's get that started. That one off so it's not so awkward as I'm working around it. Safety squints. Alright, so we got one right here. Go ahead and put that one in. And I'm going to have to cut some more of my pin stock here. Just foam. Piece like that. I'm glad that they gave plenty of pin stock, so if you make a mistake you can hopefully not have to order any more. Looks like if you did it really well you'd have either an extra piece or two left. Again, I'm waxing it every time. Just going to put a little down pressure on the stock here. Sorry, I had to take my hoodie off. I was getting hot. Alright, so we've got two more to do. One back here, one right here. So, go ahead and follow this end. this one in there. Perfect. Alright, that's in there. And we got one more down here. Move you. Might have missed that last one I just tapped in. It was right here. So we'll move down here, and there's one right behind this tube. This will be a little longer one. There it is. There. Following these. Sorry, I forgot to move the camera. Okay, we've got the butt plate off. I'm just going to take a little bit of sandpaper. Just put up my 200 grit sandpaper here. Again, I'm not getting very aggressive here. I'm just that was not smart. Dust in my eyes. Okay. Settle that down. Let's see what we can do here now. Let me just sand. Gotta be right there. Gotta be right there. sure where it's catching up. I'm gonna have to do a little reading and watching to see if figure out what exactly is going on here. Latched up thing. I mean, it is so close. Maybe it just needed a little persuasion. It's locking up now. It's not clicking hard, but it is locking up. That locks it up. I'm going to do a little bit of reading and see if I can figure out how to fix that. I didn't see it in his video, so I'll have to look back. I can get it to lock if I tap it with a hammer, but I feel like it needs just a little bit more clearance, so I'll have to figure that out. So, moving on, we'll go on to the sights. So we'll go ahead and put this in the vise here, and we'll just put a little bit of pressure on it. That's got it held in there. Just very loosely. So next we'll go on to the sights. And this is where you may have to do some filing as well. We'll zoom in, see if we can get it to focus here. Focus. There we go. So we've got the sights there. So rear sights, they just slide in there. In the video, it said there was a screw, but it looks like they've changed the way they machine these, because this one looks great. There's a little burr right there. I'm going to hit it with a file. Just pick up an angle, hit it with a file to clean that off. And just smoothing that out. Smooth it back just a little bit. See if we can get these in here. Again, you don't want these to be overly tight. You want them definitely not to fall out, but not to be too tight. Again, this has the teeth cut off one side of it, so. Do that to both sides here. Just to trim that up just slow and steady is the name of the game on this. You don't want to screw up your barrel. Starting. Got that about halfway across. It's pretty tight. Move that where I'd go. Just a couple more strokes here. There we go. I think that's the one. I think that's what we're looking for right there. Pretty tight. Get back in. That's it. I'll loose it all in there Okay, on to the front side. Okay, we'll go ahead and put the front side in there. It's brass. Let's see, everything looks good there. Let's see how tight this fits up. We're definitely going to do some filing on this front one. Hopefully I'm not. Again, I'm just very gently taking some material, basically cleaning these dovetails up. Probably blocking the camera view there. Just have to bear with me a second. Started. So, don't need much. Couple more strokes. Starting to go. I think that's it right there. May have to paint those down a little bit. Once it started, it kind of went pretty fast. So I may have took too much out of that. But I think if we tap it down on the sides, once we line it up, it'll be fine. It's crazy. I barely took any out of that front sight at all. Okay, so did forget one thing. We still have to build out the ramrod, but it shouldn't take very long. So we've got a ramrod here, and nice ramrod. We've got the end here. So mine, I noticed on his, he had to kind of beat it down on there, but mine is almost perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and stick this in the vise, and got that held good. Get something from under it here. Not quite tall enough. Still. Just give it a little support. So I've got a 1/16 inch drill bit in this, and then our nail. So I'm going to have to sand this down a little bit, this nail, to go in this hole, I believe. So we're going to go in, and I'm going to just take a center punch and find the middle. So I'm just going to take a center punch, find the middle of this. I'm going to go check and see how close he had it to the end there. So, okay, so we're just going to drill a hole in this. Right here, I'm going to take a center punch, mark this so hopefully it doesn't walk off. I know he did his pretty much by eye. So I'm not sure if it is. It's going to come all the way up there. Right there, okay. So you cannot see a thing I'm doing. Okay, so now I've got to drill the hole for the ramrod, and so you can look and see that the ramrod comes to right there. So I'm going to go about halfway, put it right there, and I'm going to use this center punch to mark a hole so my bit doesn't walk off. Okay, so there, and let's just do it again for good measure, and that just puts it in there. So I've got a 1/16 inch drill in here, and we're through. Not as bad as I thought it would be. So now we've got our nail. We had a nail. It's on the floor. There it is. Finishing nail. So I'm going to take this and just, this is another drill bit. I'm just going to put a little chamfer on this for it to peen out into. So I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Just do that by hand. Okay, so that's that, and then let's take our nail, take our file, and we'll just smooth this off a little bit. this was a 16th inch drill bit, and he said that more than likely you would have to chuck it up in a drill and turn it down a little bit. So that's what we'll do. We'll just chuck it up in my drill. You can tell that this, whatever they make finishing nails out of, is a lot softer than pin stock. Pretty close. That little piece of sandpaper go ahead. I don't think it's quite there yet, but we'll give it a go here. Not quite there. Getting close though. Getting close. Let's shoot for this just a little bit more. So I think we're really close here. I think it'll go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the slice. I'm going to put it on. Wood here. Sand it down some more. Chuck it up here. chamfer this a little bit more. Got it. Just a second ago. Piece of sandpaper polished up. Sit here. There. Almost there. I'm going to cut the head off. It'll chuck a little better. It must have been quite a bit smaller than it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, finishing nails aren't that hard to come by. This may be how not to build a Woodsrunner rifle. We're getting somewhere now. We have a little hole. Drive that a little further if I can. Snip this starting to bend. That's on there good now. I was afraid for a second there, but we got it through there. I'm going to trim these off, and then I'm going to take a file and file them down just a little bit, and then peen them over. File this down just a little bit. Take the peen of my hammer. That's not what I'm supposed to do. Something to act as an anvil. How about glass? That done. Now we'll clean up go ahead and get this other file, do a little bit better work on it. Let's see. Oh, y'all didn't see me peen that over. I put it down here and I peened it over. Sorry about that. Now I'm just taking a vise and knocking the edges off that nail, and I'm also bringing the ramrod down to meet the metal piece. take my sanding block here, 3D printed sanding block, and cut this back. It's 180 grit. I think we used 150 grit, so zoom you out a little bit. Okay. Sanded that back down a little bit. My roof is not tall enough. Ceiling. Definitely needs quite a bit of sanding on it. getting there. Should bump our grit sandpaper. see where it's there's marks on that. Had a farrier's rasp over there, but I decided that would be way too aggressive. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing here. Alright, let's see. Still getting pretty tight in here. Kind of spinning it like that puts a little mark on the ramrod. You can kind of see where it is. I think this vise I think I'm liking it best. good. I'm not sure where that left off. Still sanding the rim rod. Getting there. First time it all went all the way down. Really tight. Close. And part of my problem is there's a bend in this ramrod right about there. Have to do a little more to that, but it's pretty good. It's very long. There it is in the barrel. she is. I'll have to keep working on the ramrod a little bit, but it's going in pretty easily. And I think this rifle's about ready to sand. Alright guys. Alright guys, thank you so much for following along. I forgot about the ramrod first time I tried to close this, so you may see that in the edit, but the gun is functional. I got the sight fixed. I just kind of peened it just a little bit, seated it down in there, so we're good to go there. Everything looks good. I need to cut this off and then probably do just a little bit more sanding on that, and then I may go ahead and actually cut that off now. I'm going to cut it off long and then I'll come back and shorten it up. So I just got a little handsaw here. I'm just going to cut. I'm going to cut it way long. I'll trim it up, shorten it up a little later on. I've still got to do some sanding on it, so I'll leave some for me to be able to grab a hold of. But yeah, I think it turned out nice, super easy to put together. Just a few little hiccups and everything else went great. So I guess in a pinch I could go hunt with it now, but let's make it look a little prettier. Alright, thank you guys. With that, other than the patch box, I got to do some work on that. I got to figure that out. I think we have a. Let's go back to autofocus. With that, I think we have our Woodsrunner rifle put together. We've got a functioning rifle. We've got a functioning rifle. A little disappointed on this front side. I guess it took too much out of it. But I'll see if I can figure out how to tighten that side up a little bit. I think peening it down on the sides will lock it in there once I get it sighted in, or I may have to get them to send me a different side. I didn't take very much material out of that dovetail, so I don't know, maybe it's just a little bit small. So with that, the gun's complete, ready to be sanded and polished, and then I guess stained and hunted with. So I tried very hard not to get anything on the stock. It looks like I got a little grease spot there. Hopefully that'll sand out whenever I get everything out. But yeah, really happy with the way it went together. Definitely a good pointing and shooting rifle, hopefully. So now we're gonna sand it and get ready to go. But other than that, I think the rifle's complete. I think it is together. So thanks for following along. Hopefully in the next one we will be finishing it. I did order some finishing supplies from Kibler, and they were out of something, so they didn't send that. So I'm waiting on that. Hopefully they get that to me fairly quickly. And then I may have to do a little work to this front side because I'm not sure. It was really tight on the edges, and then when it got to the middle, it just slid right on through. So maybe I can figure out something to do with this front sight. Like I said, I took very minimal material out of this dovetail, so it may just be as simple as painting that over just a little bit, or flattening. It's like the middle of it is different than the sides, so I'll get that figured out. But I think that's not a big deal, so we can get that going. So thank you. We're gonna sand it, and I'll bring you along as I sand it. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of sanding that needs to be done, especially with this carved sock. Then we'll finish the barrels. I think I'm going to go with a blued finish. I don't know. I brought some browning solution too. Just kind of got to figure that out, what I think will look best. I'm not going for a period accurate rifle. I just want a nice looking rifle that I can be proud of, and hopefully put some meat in the freezer with. So thank you so much for following along, and I hope you have a great day.